Hey everybody, welcome to KK All Love, where it's all love all the time. What's up, y'all? I just wanted to do a really quick video on some ways that you can make sure you're not internalizing bad situations or circumstances. Just want to give y'all a few little tips that might help you out. Okay, so it's quite a few, so I took notes. Okay, so the first one is to find a new way to look at negative emotions. As I said in my previous video, there are ways that you can look at things a little bit differently. You can approach a situation or a circumstance differently. Instead of thinking, oh, this is so bad, why does this always have to happen to me? I always get the bad end of the stick or whatever. You can approach that situation or circumstance in a way like, okay, so this is what it is. How can I fix this? Or look at it as a learning experience. That might help too. Like, let's say something bad happens, you lose $20. Instead of being like, oh man, I always lose stuff. Just look at it like, you know what? I put it in my coat jacket. It fell out. That was a learning lesson for me. How about I actually put it in my wallet, put it in my purse or in my jeans pocket so that I don't go through that again. So instead of just looking at it through negative shades, look at it through rose tinted shades. Yeah. Okay. Let go of the need to be liked. Again, this is something that I personally struggle with. I always want everybody to like me. If somebody doesn't like me, it's like I overanalyze myself and I be like, oh my goodness, what did I do? What is it about me that they just don't like? Like, I kid y'all not, y'all. Before I took my break, I was trying to support absolutely everybody, right? I was trying to show everybody that I was there because I didn't want anybody to look at me like, oh, she's fake or she's phony. I wanted everybody to still look at me as that supportive, likable person. But in order to not internalize things, we have to let go of that need or that want to be liked by everyone. Not everyone's going to like you. Not everybody is going to be ready for the greatness that is you. So we just got to let it go if we want to be in a happier place and not internalizing everything, right? Don't jump to conclusions. This is something that I kind of found myself doing when I did it a couple of times on YouTube. Usually I don't jump to conclusions. I'll ask first, but I've noticed since I've been in the whole YouTube thing more often, it's a different world than what I'm used to. Sometimes you can jump to conclusions, but if you don't want to internalize things, never jump to conclusions. Even if you're 99.9% sure that whatever it is truly is, even then, still don't jump to conclusions. Ask first if you can. If you can't ask, then just let it go. Just be like, oh, that ain't for me. Oh, nope, they ain't talking about me. Oh, well, they're not talking. Even if they are, they're not talking about me. Oh, well. So that's a good way to make sure you don't internalize things. Number 4, don't let others define you. You define who you are. Don't let, like, somebody used to call me a nagger, which is the furthest from the truth. Like, I know for a fact that I don't nag people. However, it was like, almost like they were trying to convince me that that's who I was. And if you let somebody convince you that you're something that you're not, eventually you'll turn into that very thing. So don't let anybody ever define who you are. You define who you are and then walk in it, project it, so nobody can have any mistakes or put something on you that's not true. Always show who you truly, truly are, because you're awesome. You're loved and you're cherished. So it's no problems being you. All right. Allow feedback to help you grow. That is really an important one, because you can't always either it's hard to give or receive feedback without your feelings getting hurt. Like, point blank, period. But even if your feelings are hurt, you can still accept that feedback, still listen to that feedback, implement that feedback. And even though it may hurt your feelings a little bit, still, it's cool. Just know that the person that's giving the feedback, know that they're coming from a good place. If you know that they're coming from a good place, it's so much easier to accept that feedback, even if it hurts your feelings. Not everything is going to be all warm and fuzzy. Sometimes you're going to have to be faced with a hard truth. You have to be able to accept that gracefully without getting attitudes or treating people funny. Just accept the feedback and implement it, and then keep it moving like nothing ever happened. Just don't do whatever the feedback is again. Especially if it's really, really good constructive feedback and not just somebody that's hating on you. All right. Remember to admire and trust yourself. So, again, y'all know I'm really big on self-love. So, when you know who you are, let's say you know you're loyal, you know you're trustworthy, you know you're respectful, like, acknowledge that and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm really a good person. It doesn't matter who doesn't see it. I'm a good person. I'm awesome. And trust yourself, meaning your intuition or your gut. If your gut tells you to do something, 9 times out of 10, you need to do it. Because if you don't, you could miss out on a blessing, or you could walk into something that you ain't had no business walking into, and it just be a bad situation from there. We don't want that, right? So it's always good to trust yourself and admire the person that you are. And when you stand strong in who you are, it's kind of hard to internalize things anyway. These are the things that I'm learning. Okay, remove your expectations. That's a biggie, because we walk into a lot of things expecting something, even if we're not aware. So, for example, let's say with YouTube, you go to everybody that you follow and that follows you. Absolutely everybody. You go to everybody's pages. You always leave comments. You always leave likes. You don't miss a video. You're always there when they go live. You're in their chat. You're talking to them and everybody else. You're interacting. You're sending super chats and cash apps and all that stuff. But then you expect them to do the same in return. But the thing is, they aren't you. They may not be in the same situation you're in. They may have jobs where they work long hours and they can't get to everybody's video. They may not have much time, so they may watch your video. They may like your video, but they don't have time to put a comment. You can't expect everything that you give out. And honestly, I will admit, this is something that I kind of just learned. People aren't going to move the way that you do. People aren't going to think the way that you do. And even with love, not everybody's going to love you the same way that you love them. Now, that's a hard truth, but it's something you got to swallow, because, yeah, not everybody's the same. So those expectations of expecting people to reciprocate exactly what you put out, you got to throw it out the door. Otherwise, your feelings will get hurt every single time. Yep. Do a reality check. So, of course, we all know that the world does not revolve around us, right? But sometimes you get so caught up that it's almost like you're living in a fantasy. Like you think that if anybody is saying anything and it even remotely resembles you, you automatically jump into conclusions and thinking it's about you. However, it's always good to be planted firmly in reality. Okay, number one, was I even over there? Have I been seen by any of them? Could they have been talking about me? Just focus on your reality, what you know for a fact is. If what you're thinking about isn't concrete fact, just throw it out. Just throw it out. It's just that simple. Well, it's not really simple, but it can be, especially if you practice and implement this over time. It'll get easier and easier and easier. All right. Know for a fact that you're not always wrong. Sometimes you are right. So even if you have a disagreement with somebody, right? Or if you have like 5 disagreements in a row, know that you're not always wrong. If you know in your heart that you're right about something, you really don't have to internalize it. You don't even have to keep arguing. You could just say, okay, let's agree to disagree. And keep it moving. Just know that you're not always wrong. Sometimes you are, but not all the time. And last but not least, evaluate the person's circumstances and situations. Now, I could use the same example that I used with, which one was it? Expectations. So let's say, again, you're always going to somebody's page, showing them love, always supporting, but then you notice, oh, well, I haven't seen this person in my last week's videos. What's up? You got to think about it. Again, that person may work a lot and they haven't had a chance to get to your video, or they may not have enough time. They may be sick. They may be going through, like, really honestly and truly could be anything. So just think about a person's situation or the person's situation or circumstances. It may not be you. It may be something with them. So if that's the case, you really don't have to internalize it and think, okay, this is something that I did wrong, or this is something that has to do with me, or anything like that. Again, I overthink a lot, or I used to overthink a lot. I used to overanalyze a lot, and I needed to not internalize everything. I needed a way that it would be easier for me to go through things and I not worry over it and stress over it and stuff. So I did a little research, and I hope that these helpful tips will help you. Whew, that was quite a bit, but this was a productive video, right? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Also, don't forget to like. I think that's about it. So you all have an awesomely amazing day. Again, this is your girl KK, sending all of you so much love, light, peace, and many blessings. Bye, y'all.